Welcome. We're back. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Just off the top of my head, we're gonna start off with Bitcoin. After Bitcoin, we're gonna talk about the overall market. There's a lot I have to talk about the market. Then I'm gonna look into, look at a bunch of charts, talk about Clover, Wish, AMC, GameStop, SOFI, Space, Virgin Galactic had their launch this morning. We're gonna talk about GGPI as well. Not really the chart, but we're gonna be talking about the potential merger and the rumors that are starting to spread about that. So yeah, we're in for a pretty interesting stream. We're just gonna start off with Bitcoin while people are hopping into the stream. And yeah, I'm just gonna run down everything for probably like the next half an hour. After I run down everything, we're gonna do tick requests. So don't drop any tickers in the chat just yet. So got a lot to cover. And let's start getting to that. So yeah, starting off with Bitcoin, still within this range, still relatively quiet, not moving too much. If we come down to the 4-hour chart, a little bit of a falling wedge. I was charting this earlier. We were doing a scanning call in the Discord. I was trying to look to see how cryptos were looking. Couldn't find a lot of altcoins that looked amazing to me. I don't know if they're completely ready just yet for a reversal, but Bitcoin does have 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty almost a falling wedge, trying to break out as we speak right now. And if it does break out of this, I mean, maybe it just heads back up to the top around 36K. But nice move from 32 to 34K in the past couple of days. That's really it for Bitcoin. We're probably going to talk mostly about stocks this stream. So we're going to talk about the overall stock market first, but looking at futures, flat. S&P futures are completely flat. Nasdaq futures are up 0.1%. Not too much of any sign going into tomorrow just yet. But let's go take a look at the indices. Before I really get into everything and look at the actual technicals, I'm definitely, just from how I've been scanning today, looking at a bunch of different charts, I'm sure many people have noticed that so far July has pretty much felt like February. Where in February we had, Nasdaq and the S&P, those large cap stocks were just running and it was pulling up the indices to all-time highs. But at the same time, a lot of retail stocks and mid-cap growth stocks and more speculative stocks were dumping. Like pretty much from the middle of February up until like the beginning of May, they were just in a pretty rough bear market. And pretty much this month so far, it kind of feels like that again. They're not falling as much as they were months ago, but it has been rough for a lot of those stocks this month so far, while large cap tech stocks have been running, like Apple and Facebook and Microsoft and Roku, you name it. But it's in the title of the stream, and I really talked about, the potential rotation I'm looking at next. Again, this is really early to say anything like this because we still need to wait for the price action, and I'm not trying to force anything. But the way that I'm looking at a lot of charts right now, I kind of feel like really what's been pulling up this market so crazy for the past couple of weeks essentially has been large cap tech stocks, right? Amazon broke out, Apple broke out, huge moves on those. They're large holdings in these major indices. But now those large cap tech stocks are starting to get overbought, right? They're pretty overbought. We had a pretty rough scare on Wednesday and Thursday morning of last week, pretty rough pullback really quickly, and then it just got eaten up. But still, we saw for like 3 mornings in a row last week, we had I'm not going to say very rough mornings, but we had red mornings, and then into the afternoon, the Nasdaq and the S&P started going green and bouncing up and closing the day, at pretty good highs. But at the same time, going into the next couple of weeks, I think we're going to start seeing some pullbacks, not necessarily like bearish pullbacks, but maybe even bullish pullbacks on a lot of these large cap tech stocks. Because if we look at the Nasdaq right here, it just broke out of this major 14,180 mark, broke out of that pretty much towards the end of June, and it's been running. So what I would be looking for here on the Nasdaq is a back test of that breakout, right? And I do think this will be a very strong support if it does get tested, because it was resistance like 5 different times since February. So what I'm looking for is a back test and then hopefully a bounce. Now at the same time, we can compare this to a lot of different charts, right? If we look at, let's say, Nvda, maybe, this one's been going crazy. Maybe it gets a back test, right? It had the stock split. This is not me telling you to short anything. It was just from scanning today. But you can see you have classic bearish divergence on the daily for Nvda. It broke out of this channel that it was trending in ever since the middle of May. It broke out of that channel last week. We take a look at Microsoft. Microsoft is at the PCZ of a bearish crab with classic bearish divergence developing on the daily and the 4-hour, and it's at the guardrail of this channel over here. If you chart these two highs, it pretty much has been showing resistance up over here. So you could see that these large cap tech stocks are approaching pretty real resistances. Even if we take a look at something like Apple, it's pretty much right at the previous all-time highs from January 25th. They closed actually a little bit higher, but it still is right at that level. The RSI is overbought. Historically, every single time the RSI was overbought in Apple, you did get some sort of a pullback. And again, just like I was talking about on the Nasdaq, you can get this back test, right? So we still are at this resistance, but you can kind of see that there's this other 137 level on Apple from over here and over here and over here and over here. Maybe we get the back test, flip the previous resistance into support, reset the RSI, and then go more crazy. So looking into the rest of the month for large cap tech stocks, you know, we have earnings seasons pretty much starting within the next couple of weeks. We already have seen pre-earnings runs in the last 2 months, ever since really the last earnings for large cap tech. So I think, you know, we already have been running up into earnings. I think we might see a pretty okay bullish pullback soon going into the earnings, and obviously the earnings can flip them in either direction depending on how they go. But on the flip side, apart from large cap tech stocks, these retail stocks, these speculation stocks, mid-cap growth stocks, all those types of names, for the past 2 or 3 weeks, every single stream, I've just been saying, like, I can't tell. It's very confusing. I don't really know how they look anymore. We had a great May and June, but really getting in towards the end of June, a lot of these more speculative stocks were getting a little bit overbought, and now we haven't seen the pullback for the last 2 weeks in the market. So in terms of rotation, I think it's possible for, and again, this is just me being speculative. I don't have actual like super insane data. This is just really me trying to kind of get a sight on what the market looks like. If we take a look, you know, at a lot of different growth stocks and mid caps, maybe we get a rotation from large cap tech stocks back into those mid cap growth stocks, and then we can see bounces. Now, if we take a look at the Russell 2000, the small cap index, you can see over here that the RSI is not even close to overbought. If we take a look at the ARK ETF, which tracks a lot of these new growth stocks, you're not even close to overbought on the RSI, right? So if you look at those two indices, you had a pretty comfortable area on the RSI. But if we come over to the S&P 500, where a lot of large cap stocks hold the majority of weighting, you are pretty close to overbought. If we look at the Nasdaq, you are literally overbought. So the rotation that I'm looking at going into the rest of the month, and again, there's only a no just snap for it right now, is a rotation from these super hot large cap tech stocks back on over into ARK stocks and potentially small caps. But again, we can't know for sure until we see how these mid cap and small cap stocks do when we do see the S&P and the Nasdaq down 1%. The biggest sign for me would be, I would like to see the S&P and Nasdaq down 1% one day this week maybe. But on the flip side, we have all these meme stocks and retail stocks and SPACs and EVs and pot stocks going green, right? And that was something that really kind of showed for a little bit on Thursday. On Thursday morning, I'm sure many people remember, we had a pretty rough open for the market. But a lot of stocks, they gapped down and then they just ran right back up. Like if we take a look at something like, maybe Boeing. Yeah, look at this. So on Boeing, this was on Thursday, right? The day closed, Wednesday closed at 231 on Boeing. It gapped down on Thursday morning to 227. And then intraday, it went from 227 to close at 236. And then on Friday, it did not give back the push it made on Thursday, and it kept going. So if you're in the Discord, if you follow me on Twitter, you might have noticed that for the first time in a couple of weeks, I started to put out a few more swing trade ideas, and I'm going to probably continue to this week because I really like what we saw on Thursday and Friday. I was waiting for some sort of sign for the last couple of weeks before putting out new ideas. And on Thursday, we saw the gap down in the morning. We saw a big run into the close by Thursday afternoon. And then on Friday, which was pretty much my confirmation, we saw that none of the candles were giving back, right? Instead of, you know, us pretty much dropping right back down to Thursday's lows, on Friday, we actually went even higher. And it's not just on Boeing, it's just an example. We did this on stocks across the board. Most stocks kind of look like this. Gap down on Thursday, ran up until the close on Thursday, and then they went even higher on Friday. That is a bullish sign to me. So that's really what I'm looking at. That's my overall thesis on the market. Again, there's no way to know for sure until we see the price action, but I could definitely see some sort of a inverse rotation, because the rotation we have seen in the past couple of weeks is small cap and mid cap stocks, the money flow going into large cap tech stocks, which could be a sign of people trying to de-risk and go over to the blue chips. So that's my pretty much overlook going into the market. I do think tech stocks are due for a pullback pretty soon here, and I know I've been saying that for like a week and a half. We got a little bit of a pullback a few days last week, but we ended up having a really good day for the market on Friday. So yeah, now I'm going to talk about a lot of different stocks. I'm going to talk about Clover, then Wish, then AMC, then GameStop, then SOFI, then GGPI, which could be potentially merging with Polestar, which I'm going to bring up an article about. Then we're going to talk about Space, the Virgin Galactic launch. Maybe I'll show a few tickers from the watch list that I sent to premium members. We got a lot to look at. I'm really excited. Really excited for sure. Give me 1 second here. I just gotta do something. We're gonna talk about probably Clover right now. All right, so also the chat is very, very quiet. Let's get some vibes in the chat. Make sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying the stream. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the stream. I go over charts every single night, talk about the market, talk about the hot sectors and the hot stocks. Hit that subscribe button, join the Discord, the link's in the description. Let's have a good stream. We already got 48 people in here, which is amazing. We should definitely be at like 30 likes by right now. We got a lot to talk about. It's an exciting stream. There's just so much, finally, because the past few nights on the stream have been pretty boring. It was just very slow days for, you know, a lot of the stocks that I trade and a lot of stocks that many of my viewers trade, all of you trade. So we actually have a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to start off with Clover. Probably going to spend a decent amount of time on Clover. Then we're going to talk about all the other names I just mentioned. On Friday, I put out a new swing idea for Clover. Does that mean you should go market buy Clover tomorrow morning? Absolutely not. That means you should do your own research. That means you should always make your own decision. It's just, I'm just a person with an opinion. I can be wrong. I was literally wrong the last time I put an idea on Clover. I've been right other times on Clover. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm just giving my thoughts, right? I'm never, you know, saying, or I've never tried to say I'm a perfect trader, but I'm scaling back into Clover and Wish. We're going to talk about Wish next. There's a pretty decent amount of things I'm looking at on Clover now. Finally, the 4-hour hidden bullish divergence is developing again. If we take a look at the MACD. On the daily, the divergence is not developing, but you do have a strong potential for eventually getting hidden bullish divergence. You just need the MACD to start doing something like this, going back towards green. And what would have to happen for that? Good price action. If we come over to the 4-hour, you could see we had close to a little bit too big of a body, but almost a bullish pin bar on the 4-hour close on Friday. We come down over to the 1-hour. I think it's actually lower than that. If we come down to the 15-minute, we have this down sloping channel. If we go over to the 1-hour, we have two different harmonic patterns. One of them is not completed yet. Let me just leave this for a second. The first one I'm looking at, we were actually looking at this as a bullish Gartley right over here, but it pretty much failed. So a failed bullish Gartley can eventually turn into a bullish crab. So it failed the bullish Gartley, and now there's a potential for this turning into a bullish crab pattern if we come down to, I think, around like $8.70. Let me just get this out of the way. So if we come down over here to like $8.80, that would be the 1618 extension from X to D. That's a pretty real 1-hour crab pattern that's incompleted for right now. But if we also pull out this, I'm sure many people remember on the last idea for Clover, I was talking about that bullish cipher, and it blew past the 786, and a failed cipher can turn into a bullish shark. So you're now at the 886 retrace. So you have both a bullish shark pattern on the 1-hour and an uncompleted bullish crab pattern. So two different harmonic patterns. Also, if we go over to the 4-hour, you pretty much held the $9 support on Friday. $9 used to be resistance back in the beginning of March. Right over here on this high, it was resistance. Even $8.90 was resistance for like 2 weeks. So I have $9 and $8.90 as the new supports on Clover. Even if it does break both of those, you still have that bullish crab PCZ down at like 870 that we talked about. I could just probably move it down there. So definitely more variables than we saw the last time I tried to give Clover a chance. Obviously, it's been very, very ugly. It's had, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 7 red days in a row, which is pretty extended. They did have an lockup expiration last week. I didn't see any insiders selling, but I think an institution called Green Oaks or something might have converted Class B shares into Class A shares, which is, I believe, gives them more liquidity going into the future. You know, either it could be they want to get out of a small part of their position, or they're thinking eventually this could maybe squeeze because of the short interest, and then they would want to be able to take profits right away. You know, again, I can't speak for them. I don't know exactly how the filing worked, but that's my understanding of what happened. And yeah, I'm slowly scaling back into Clover. Why? Does it just because I'm scaling to something doesn't mean it's going to go up for sure. It just means I think it's at a pretty clear area where if it does bounce here, there's a lot of room to the upside. And if it doesn't bounce here, there's a clear area for me to get out, right? If Clover breaks under 870, 860, if it breaches that, then I think I'm probably not going to be touching Clover down to like $6.50, right? Because if it comes down under 850, there's really nothing from right over here down to over here. There's not much support. So I think there's a pretty decent reward to risk here. Doesn't mean it's going to go up for sure. That's just all I'm watching on Clover. We'll see what happens this week. I'm going to kind of move on because we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Wish now. I put out a short-term idea on Wish, I think last Thursday. Again, it's only a short-term idea. You still do have the hidden bearish divergence on the daily MACD and RSI. You did close over 11, which is very important on Friday. 11 was the candle low from May 11th when a lot of other stocks were bottoming. And you did close back above that on Friday, which I really like. 4-hour MACD is waning back towards green, no divergence, but still looks pretty decent. And then on the 1 hour, which is pretty much the main thing I'm looking at right over here, you broke out of this downsloping channel. You have classic bullish divergence on the MACD and the RSI. You're over the VWAP. And all Wish needs to do, really all it needs to do is break over this area right over here, like 1125-ish. You could see it's this resistance from July 7th from last week. It tested it like 10 different times, rejected it every single time. But now it's starting, and again, this is only the 1 hour time frame, but it's starting to make higher lows, pushing up against that sell wall. And I think it was up a little bit after hours as well on Friday. So if Wish can literally get 2 or 3% higher at some point this week, it could be breaking out of this resistance. I think if Wish goes over 1130, I'm sure many other people are looking at the same level as I am. I think there's a lot of room to run. Again, it just came down from $15 to like $10 in like 10 days or something. So it has room. We'll see what happens. Let's move on to AMC now. Hidden bullish divergence is developing on the 4 hour. Again, another stock where on Thursday you gapped down, then you had a crazy run intraday, and on Friday you were able to not give back those gains from Thursday afternoon. That's a bullish sign to me. If we look at the daily, not much on the daily. I think 36 is the most important level on this chart. 36 was your candle over here, candle high over here. It was previous all-time high resistance from 2017 and 2015. So 36 is the most important level on the AMC chart for me. It is kind of in between that insane support and resistance, which is 51 bucks. So could see it going either way, but you do have some hidden bullish divergence developing. GameStop, however, I was looking at this earlier today, just scanning. It's at a pretty interesting level. So this 190 area was actually the resistance back in April and May. It topped out at it like 4 different times, on the 8th of April, on the 27th of April, on the 18th of May, and on May 24th. Once it finally broke above it, it ran all the way up to over 300 bucks. Now it's come back down over there, and it's gone under a couple times intraday, but it's closed every single daily candle above this 188 level. There also is hidden bullish divergence developing on the daily for GameStop, and classic bullish divergence on the 4 hour. So from a technical standpoint, as long as GameStop can continue to close above 188, I think it actually does look pretty bullish again. If it breaks that level and it cannot close above 188, then there's room down to like 135. I'm sorry, that's just the next support. When you go straight up and you break supports, you could go straight back down, which it has done in the past over here. So from a fundamental standpoint, I don't think it makes any, I don't think there's an argument to say GameStop has a good valuation at this stock price, but again, the valuation doesn't mean anything, and it hasn't meant anything since like last fall. So yeah, GameStop's looking pretty interesting. Another one we're going to talk about, SOFI, hidden bullish divergence developing on the daily, on the 4-hour. It's almost confirmed, and you never got down to the 886, but it did end up bouncing off of a 0.82 retrace on Friday. So it's like an almost bullish bat. It didn't get all the way down there. It still could, but we'll see whether this divergence plays out this week and we get a bounce up from this level, or maybe it comes down to the 886 and then the divergence confirms, or maybe it never does, maybe it fails. But SoFi looking pretty interesting. So those were some chart breakdowns. Now we're going to talk about two other stocks. GGPI, obviously there's not much for me to do on the chart here. There's not really anything technical, but this is a new SPAC from what I understand, and on social media and also on other few websites and sources, there is apparently rumored, again, keyword rumored, talks going on between GGPI and Polestar. Now Polestar is, I believe, a pretty decently established electric vehicle company. I think they already have cars on the road. I didn't look too much into them, but they've been doing pretty decent numbers. In Europe, they're already making revenue also from, again, I don't know all this for sure, but I just tried to kind of briefly look through things earlier today before the stream. So they already have a decent amount of revenue from what I understand. And I think Bloomberg is reporting maybe a $25 billion valuation. We're going to look at the website right now. So this is from Bloomberg. Polestar, the electric car maker controlled by Volvo Car AB and its owner Geely Holding Group, is in talks to go public. Again, in talks to go public through a merger with Gores Guggenheim, a blank check firm, aka SPAC. Gores Guggenheim rose as much as 7% on the news last week. A transaction may value the combined company at around $25 billion. No deal has been reached, and it's possible terms could change or that talks fall apart. So pretty similar it's kind of similar to, I don't know if this is a loose example, but kind of similar to CCIV earlier this year when the rumors were out. Obviously, those rumors did get confirmed. We don't know if these rumors are going to get confirmed, but it is a company that is at a pretty big level already, and if they were to go public, people are already showing on social media that there is retail interest for this SPAC and electric vehicle company. So I'm sure a lot of people remember I was definitely late on CCIV. I didn't touch CCIV from the initial run from 10 to 60. I did not touch it at all. When it came down from 60 to 20 is when I started trading it a little bit. Had a pretty rough streak trading CCIV at first, actually. Got a couple nice trades out there, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think I also saw in some other video today, and again, please do all your own research on this. I'm not a news analyst. I saw on some other website that apparently Polestar already is selling more EVs in some European countries, or some more EVs compared to Tesla in some European countries, which would be really interesting. So we'll see if this can join the large EV stocks a lot of people talk about: NIO, Tesla, Lucid, Fisker, and a bunch of others. So yeah, just bringing it up in case anybody didn't know about it. Again, it's only in talks right now. It's only rumors right now, but we'll see what happens. It's on my watch list for the week. Obviously, there's nothing technical you could really do here, but it's all about hype for a lot of things like this. We'll see if the hype is there this week, regardless of any confirmation. It could just be speculation. Just bringing that up. And then finally, the last one I want to talk about, Space. Had the launch this morning. As far as I know, everything pretty much went according to plan. Again, I don't know exactly. But yeah, I mean, Space has probably been one of the best stocks in the market since May 11th. It has increased 233% in value. I honestly think for the next couple of years, Space is going to be a very volatile name, just because of what they're trying to do is so new. It's a very untapped market. There's a lot of complexity behind it. If they have one flight that goes wrong, that could crush this stock. At the same time, we're going to find out tomorrow how people react to the launch today. So I mean, it's already gone crazy. I put out an alert on Space for premium members down when it was $16. It was a great 54% trade. Obviously, back when it was down at, you know, 15 bucks, I didn't know that it would kind of go all the way up to 50 again within like a couple of months. It's just not really my normal way to target things. But it definitely had a crazy run. And yeah, I mean, from a charting standpoint, 42 to 43 is probably the most important level. Previous all-time high from February. A little bit of a support from all of last week, as you can see there. So you definitely want this to stay above like 43 bucks. Next major resistance on the daily is 57. So yeah, it's just kind of in this new range between 43 and 57. I think whichever way it breaks could be telling. You break 57, you could probably retest all-time highs. You break 43, you could probably fill the gap at 40 bucks. You break 40 bucks, then it could get a little bit ugly. So we're going to see. I think a lot of people are going to be watching Space tomorrow morning, maybe a lot of other space stocks as well, and trying to get a grasp on how people react to this. It obviously could be a catalyst for a continuation of this run. Also, it could be a sell the news event, because people might be like, all right, all went well. This already ran up until the flight. What's next? So we'll see. And yeah, that's like the main breakdown for today. Futures are still relatively flat. Bitcoin is currently at 34K or 34.2K pretty much. And yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting week. Hopefully the first half an hour of the stream was insightful. Let me know. I haven't looked at the chat at all, so let me take a look at the chat right now. Keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 30 likes right now. What else we got? Chatter Free says big week this week for economics. Vishal says, what is driving the market fundamentally? I think there's definitely a few things. It might be, we are probably getting a little bit drier than usual. We've had a lot of catalysts so far this year. The past couple of weeks have been pretty slow. Ever since really the last Fed meeting, it's been kind of slow. But I think, you know, fundamentally, we do have a lot of large cap tech stocks running up until their earnings towards the end of this month. We also have the fact that still we're kind of putting off, you know, the interest rates and kind of still not talking too much about tapering and all those different things that, again, I don't really look too much into. I just mainly focus on the charts. But fundamentally, I think we're just in a situation where things are just kind of on autopilot. We already know most of what's going on for the next couple of months. Obviously, anything can happen at any point. Any sort of news can come out. We still have that Delta variant and COVID that we kind of will have to see. That obviously COVID heavily affected the market last March. And it just depends on how much this Delta variant will be a concern, not only to investors, but to our country. So yeah, I mean, there's ups and downs. I don't try and look too much in everything. It's just there's so many different things you can get lost in. I just kind of let the charts tell me how other people feel, and I react to the charts, you know? Two more likes at 30 likes. Oh, we talked about my market outlook for the next couple of weeks earlier on the stream. It'll be in the timestamps when the stream's over. And yeah. Oh, we do have the we have July 16 call expiring, or July 16 options expiring this week. A lot of open interest on those July 16th options. No, I don't believe it's a witching date. We just had a witching date not too long ago. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this week we'll see what happens, you know? I think we're probably going to take requests in a couple minutes here. But if you want me to take a look at a ticker, you could drop it in the chat right now. Don't request anything that was up more than 30% on Friday. Don't request anything that IPO'd within the last month. I need data on a chart to actually analyze it, believe it or not. And I don't really trade things that go straight up or straight down. I like getting in before the big moves, so I don't really analyze things that have already went crazy. So don't get offended if I skip your chart. There's no emotions in trading. Everybody has their own style. I never hate on anybody for how they make money in this market. All I want to see is people making money, right? So anybody can trade how they want. I just talk about how I trade. I try and teach how I trade, stay in my own zone. And yeah, nothing I say is financial advice. I'm going to be wrong on my opinions because they're just opinions. So always do your own research and let's get into it. Oh yeah, we'll look at ALLO. But yeah, I was scanning today, and the last couple of weeks it's been pretty hard to find good looking swing tradable charts, but today I found like 20 tickers pretty easily. So I don't know if that's a sign for the rotation I was talking about earlier, but definitely I'm going to be giving a lot of these charts a chance. So slowly probably going to get back into swings. I'm sure you can notice by the last couple of weeks I've mainly just been focusing on like day trades and very short-term moves. But now I'm starting to see some swing trade opportunities again after the pullback we've seen so far this month. I think a lot of things look pretty interesting. But yeah, I think the watch list I sent to premium today was like the longest watch list I've sent in like a month. And you do not have to be a premium member to know about what I have on my watch list. All you got to do is join the Discord, and every single Sunday I do a group call, I do scanning, and all the same tickers that I share with my premium members in like a pretty organized format, I just find them through that call. So anybody who was in the call, premium member or not, was able to see the tickers I flagged. But obviously I still try and do a little bit more of charting on them after I finish scanning. We gotta put in HEXO. We're gonna start off with ALLO. I want to see it get back above 25. This is an ongoing trade. It's been stop hunted. Still is closed every single day above the 23 level. So as long as it continues to hold close candles above 23 on the daily, it's still fine. But the real important level, like I've been saying, is 25. I want to see ALLO reclaim 25. Stop coming down to this 23 level. I don't want to see it here. I want it to get back above that very important historical support / resistance and not come back under it. That's all I'm looking for. Hopefully it can do it soon so that the MACD doesn't go back to red on the daily. Ethereum Classic. It's made a deep retrace like most other altcoins. If we actually look over here, might be trying, at least for the past couple of days, it's been finding support around 46.50. That was previous all-time highs from the 2017 run. So I think it is important for ETC to continue holding above 47 bucks. I don't see any divergence on the daily. On the 4 hour, there is a little bit of classic bullish divergence. It hasn't done too much yet though. So you just want it to hold above 47, and I'd say then bigger resistance is 58.70. So support 47, resistance 58. Those are your levels. I don't know if I'd call this an inverse head and shoulders, but kind of maybe. Something like that. And then your neckline would be this. And if it ever breaks that, I mean, yeah, it could go crazy again. Obviously, Bitcoin's gotta hold up for that to do well. Peloton kind of rejected that 125 resistance last week we were talking about. Came back down, actually did close under the 200-day moving average. It's just kind of still within this flag, I would say. Maybe you extend out your supply line like that. I'd say at this point, you just want to hold above 114, which was your previous resistance from the end of May and June. Airbnb is next. Support is 144, resistance is 154. You break 154, then you have 161 as your next resistance. I don't see much of a pattern here. I don't see hidden bullish. There was hidden bullish divergence over here. It already played out. So I don't see much divergence on the 4 hour. On the daily, I don't see divergence either. Pretty nice candle setup. I don't know if I'd call this an abandoned baby, not really a doji here, but you had the gap down on Thursday, it bounced back up, and then you had follow through price action on Friday. You did have a bullish engulfing candle there. You engulfed Wednesday's candle on Friday. So candle pattern looks pretty interesting. You just got to hold above 144, continue to close above that. CRTD is next. It closed above the 200-day moving average for 2 days in a row, which is good. If we zoom out, I don't know if I'd call this accumulation, but I like the higher lows. I think if it can break back above 467, this high from April 28th, then it has room to $6 again. Otherwise, you just want to hold the 200-day moving average at 380. NCLH is at another make or break area, $26. It was your low from April 20th. It was your low from May 13th. You just want to hold above 25.66. That's also around your 200-day moving average. Your next resistance is 29 from the highs on December 9th of last year. I don't see much here apart from that. Maybe a little bit of hidden bullish divergence on the daily. And also maybe a little bit of classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour. So there is some sort of bullish divergence starting to develop. Still needs more work though. CLF is next. I think CLF looks pretty nice. It pivoted off the bottom of the channel yet again. If it just takes out this high from July 2nd, I think it has room back up to $24 easily. If we zoom out on the daily, next resistance on the daily time frame is like $26. So it could be headed there as long as it stays above this demand line of this upsloping channel. The daily MACD looks good. Looks good to me for right now. Just got to stay within this channel. WGO also looks good to me right now. As long as it can really hold above 63.25, I think it looks good. That was a resistance from February of 2020 and August of 2020. And it did close back above the 200-day moving average on Friday. Closest resistance would be 71 here. If it breaks 71, then you got 75.69 as your next resistance, and your support is 63. But already broke out of the falling wedge and kind of flipped that area into a support. NAKD, pretty interesting. Maybe if you include this one little MACD histogram wick, which I usually don't, you could argue hidden bullish divergence is developing on the daily. On the 4-hour, classic bullish divergence is almost confirmed actually. So 4-hour looks pretty nice. You just want to hold above 47 cents. That was your previous double bottom from April and May. As long as you can hold that, 78 cents could be retested. BYND is next. I don't like how it broke under the 200-day moving average and the 145 level. It could obviously invalidate, but I think it's actually bearish under 145. If it can get back over 145, then we're talking, but I don't like it under 145 because then you have gaps to fill to the downside. You have multiple gaps to fill. So for right now, I'm not a big fan of how this looks. ROKU broke under 432 support. Now it's testing it as a resistance. This was a 2-day resistance on the 24th and 25th of June. It was also a 1-day candle high on March 2nd. It was a candle low on February 22nd. So if it can get back above 433, I think it has room up to retest all-time highs from February. If it cannot break back above that, you probably want to hold above $400 psychological support and previous resistance from April 14th of this year. HEXO is next. I don't like how it broke under the 200-day moving average. I don't see any divergence on the daily. On the 4-hour, you do have classic bullish divergence developing. Your RSI is also oversold, which is good. So hopefully these oscillators allow for a bounce soon, and then you can reclaim the 200-day moving average, and then it could look pretty decent again. But I really want to see this thing get back above the 200-day moving average. This is a pretty interesting area though. If we just look at it like this, you could see that this really this $5 area was support in January of last year, resistance in April and June of last year, resistance in December of last year, support in April of this year, potentially support for right now. Pretty important historical area that you just want to bounce off of, otherwise you do have a gap fill all the way at $4.19. Wayfair is next. A little bit of a triangle here. Apart from that, I don't see any divergence on the daily or the 4-hour. that's really it. It's in a neutral pattern right now. I think whichever way it breaks out could be telling. I don't see much apart from that pattern right there. MNSO, make or break area, you gotta hold 18. If it doesn't hold 18, there's no support left. If it can't hold 18, this could be the lowest risk area. But that's the thing about testing all-time lows. It's like either potentially the best price to get in historically, or it could be the last level of support and it could just keep going. So, you know, it's a little bit tough. You just got to hold this level. It was your lows from November of last year. If you can hold this level, 20 bucks could be retested. It was your low in March of this year. If you cannot hold this level, then this could probably turn in to a harmonic pattern. So you just got to hope that classic bullish divergence does develop, that the oversold RSI does allow for a bounce and you hold that level. So, I mean, that's even too deep right there. Maybe, I don't know. This is an OTC, CSL limited. It's not easy to chart OTCs. I don't really think charting is meant for OTC stocks. I mean, I guess it does work here and there. Like over here, you could see it broke a demand line and it's been dropping ever since. I guess you have an important level at 102, resistance from June of last year, support from January of this year, resistance from March of this year. So I guess 102 is the important level on this one. If it can hold it, I mean, major next resistance would be 117. If it cannot hold it, then your next support after that would be 95. So those are your levels. Not much I can do apart from that. Very, you know, gappy. FSLY is next.
1, 2, 3, fuck it.
Sorry, the playlist ended and it just played a random song. FSLY, it broke down under 62 support, came all the way down to 39, ran back up to 62, flipped it into a resistance, and now it's pulling back again. Daily does not look great to me. It's just kind of neutral, honestly. It's in between the $50 support and the 62 resistance. It could go either way. 4 hour, maybe you could call this a little bit of a bull flag on the 4 hour, but you got to get going, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be breaking out right here on the 4 hour. So you want to see some nice price action this week. Hopefully retest 62 and break back above it at some point in the near future. Otherwise, your next support is 50 bucks. TYME, you do have some classic bullish divergence on the 4 hour. It bounced off 114 historical support. You just want to stay above that. Close to an alternate bat, I guess. Yeah, I mean, maybe call this an alternate bat. Not really at an exact Fibonacci retrace, though. It's at a 1.03. I think more importantly, you just want to hold above 114. If you can, your next resistance is 129. Now we got NEO. Not much on the 4 hour I see. On the daily, it's at a make or break area, you know. I was pretty bullish on NEO down over here, put out a premium alert. It hit both targets for a really nice gain in like a month or something. And now it's been pulling back for a couple of weeks with a lot of other similar EV stocks. 46, it was resistance back from March. It was resistance at the end of June. Now it's also kind of, it's at that level. It's not really support or resistance, it's just at it. So I guess you just, at this point, want to hold above Thursday's low. So you just want to hold above 42.50. Otherwise, you know, there's more room to the downside. That's really all I see on NEO for right now. Chemtrail, I did cover Clover and Wish. They'll be in the timestamps of the stream. For all the people who are new in the stream, Mehdi, who is in the chat right now, what's up, Mehdi? After every single stream ends, Mehdi gives me timestamps from the stream, all the tickers I went over, all the talks I had. He timestamps everything, and then like an hour after the stream is over, I tweet out the link to it. I ping everybody in the Discord about it, and then the timestamps are both on the scroll bar and also in the pinned comment. So if you ever miss something on the stream that I said we already went over, it'll just be in the timestamps. You could check it out later tonight or tomorrow morning or whenever you please. So yeah, that was the first round of ticker requests. Futures, a little bit red, but still flat. Bitcoin's still at the same area, 34.1K. Yeah, keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 40 likes right now. And join the Discord if you haven't already. I really don't know what you're doing if you're not on the Discord. I kind of feel bad for you. So the link's in the description. If you're not there, I really don't know what you're doing. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, VERB is next. Not much I can do here. Again, I don't, after things go crazy, that's not really how I trade. I'm not really a momentum trader. I'm more of a reversal trader. At this point, your support is 183, your resistance is 253. It's right in between them. I could see this one going either way. I don't really see like a technical edge. SRPT, thank you Chet Freeze for dropping the Discord link in the chat. I'm not too sure about this one either. It's not really at any historical level. I'd probably say 419 is an important level. It was your support over here, resistance over here, resistance on these 2 days, and then support on these 2 days. So it kind of just keeps going above and below it, so it doesn't really regard it too well, but it has acted as both support and resistance multiple times since April. So I guess you just want to continue holding above 419. If you can hold above it, your next resistance would be 526. If you cannot hold above it, you definitely would want to hold above Thursday's low, because that's when a lot of stocks capitulated in the short term. So yeah, CRTD. I'm not too sure on this one. I think we already looked at this one. Yeah, I mean, it's close to 2 days above the 200-day moving average. I like the higher lows. Next resistance is 467. Support is $3. We looked at this one earlier. PLX. It's at a pretty important area. You got to hold this. PLX, it's your previous all-time low from October 2019. Fell a little bit under it on Thursday when the market was red, bounced back above it. You just really have to hold above 169. That's really what it comes down to here. I mean, the trend is just not good right now. It's really not. It is pretty oversold. There was a lot of upside, should have reversed here. Obviously there's no way for me to know for sure if it will. So it's at the make or break area right now. PENN still just messing around. It ended up breaking 75. Even more, wow, quadruple classic bullish divergence now on the daily. The issue is now that it is under 75. That was the most important level to me. It was your previous resistance from October and November of last year. Flipped into support in May and June, and then you ended up breaking it last week. I don't like PENN under 75. You get back above 75 on PENN and I'll feel a lot better about it. So that's really it. I just want to see PENN get back above 75. I like the company, but right now it's just not performing, and I don't know how long it'll take to start performing. Hopefully soon. Disney was up 2.5%. A little bit of like a falling wedge here. Maybe you could chart like this as well, like that. Maybe it hasn't broken out yet. You kind of look at it like this. So it depends on how you look at it, but it could be in this, it is in a potential breakout area. 178 is resistance. You can break that. If you can break that resistance, you have a gap fill at 183.85. If you cannot do good things at this area, 171 is your closest support. But we'll see, with amusement parks reopening, with Disney Plus, I'm not too sure how they're doing fundamentally. I didn't really look at their last earnings, but it actually did go up pretty nicely after the last earnings, and their next earnings, according to TradingView, should be in the beginning of August. So yeah, I'm actually interested to know how well Disney is doing with the bundle that they do with Hulu and ESPN Plus. because I got the UFC pay-per-view and I got the Disney bundle with it. So pretty interesting to see how a few of these media companies are starting to work together to try and increase their own subscriber count, but also they're kind of, you know, cross-marketing with others. The trade desk, I like that it's holding above 76. That was support 3 different times in January and February of this year. Now it is support yet again. I think there was a split on this one. I like it. Hold above 75 and it still looks good to me. I don't really see much divergence or any patterns, but that's an important level. And actually you do have a little bit of hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour developing. Just got to continue to hold above 75. ATY, 845 is your level. You got to hold that. You break 845 and then after that your next support would be $6. There's really nothing in between $6 and 845. So 845 has to hold in my opinion. I don't know if it will, but I would really like it to on this one. And that's really all I would be looking at for right now, staying above that level. RWLK, maybe a little bit of classic bullish divergence on the daily. You just got to hold 155. That was your lows from May 10th when a lot of other stocks were bottoming. You held it again last week. You actually got a bullish hammer candle on Friday. You just got to continue holding above 155. That's really it for RWLK. BKD. And then Intel will be the final ticker of the night. Keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 40 likes by the end of the stream. BKD, you do have some hidden bullish divergence on the daily. It's at a pretty choppy area historically. This area has been resistance, or it was resistance in 2019, and it was the same level you were at before the COVID crash. So you're retesting your pre-COVID crash levels. It has been going very well for the stock in the past few months. Really ever since April last year, it's been in an uptrend. Or I guess ever since November last year, it's been in an uptrend. Just in an upsloping channel, you just want to hold this demand line and then hopefully break back above this 855 historical resistance. And our final ticker of the night is Intel. It's breaking this demand line. Actually, it's somehow still in it. It actually broke it, I guess, on Thursday when a lot of stocks gapped down, and then Friday it reclaimed it. It also reclaimed the 200-day moving average. Gotta hold this. 56 is the insanely important historical level on Intel. You just gotta, you're right at it. It's at the make or break area. You can hold above this. There's room to 58 next, and if you break 58, there's a gap for less 62. If you don't hold this, you could probably retest 53.60, which was your low from the beginning of May. And that is it for ticker requests tonight. So thank you for the likes on the stream. Thank you for all the support. Yeah, appreciate everything. Hope everybody has a great week in the market. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Yeah, really good stream. Excited to go into this week. This will be the last week of me streaming right here for the next month. So next week I'm going down to Miami. I'm not going to be streaming on Sundays anymore for the next month. This is the last Sunday stream for, this is probably the last Sunday stream until maybe either the end of August or early September. So yeah, I'm still going to be doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday streams every single week forever. But I'm not going to be doing the Sunday streams probably for another month or so. But yeah, still going to be in the Discord every single day. Still going to be streaming Monday to Thursday as much as I can. And yeah, let's crush it this week. Let's have a good time. Thank you, Steven. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Have a great night. Good luck this week. Sleep well. And I'll see you in the Discord. Peace out.